G'day, scenario planning. This time, it's not personal. A lot of businesses these days are talking about scenario planning. And essentially what that is considering alternate possible futures and then having plans and systems and processes and strategies in place that mean that you can adapt to that new scenario playing out. And an interesting article I saw last night that my mate Bill shared with me suggests that companies can actually benefit by taking novels or storybooks and using those as part of the scenario planning process. And the reason for that is that oftentimes when we're doing our scenario planning, we can't help but look at it through our own personal circumstance. And so there's a bias inbuilt in that. But if we take a story from somebody else, in fact, even a made up story, then there's no bias anymore. I mean, as much as possible, it's a totally clean slate. So yeah, we can play with that possible outcome, that possible future, without really impacting ourselves. And oftentimes also in scenario planning, you tend to maybe pull out some company data from the individuals, from the organization. And again, that stuff isn't required if you're using made up stories and made up futures. And even right now, particularly, some of these non-fiction dystopian kind of stories could be real interesting for scenario planning because, let's face it, we're in kind of a dystopian possible future right now with this pandemic situation. So scenario planning, getting a lot of airplay. I'll put a link to that article where you can have a look and see what they said about the idea of using novels and stories to incorporate in your scenario planning process. And I'm also going to tag in here Woody Wade, who is an expert I know on scenario planning. And Woody, if you're listening to this, if you see this, I'd really love to hear your thoughts on the value of incorporating storybooks into the scenario planning process. Alrighty, that is it for today. I do thank you for your time, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya.